What's up YouTube? My name is Ross Swinson. Today we're going to be learning the intro / main riff to Everlong by Foo Fighters. So let's jump right in. All right, so the first thing with this riff is you need to be in drop D tuning. So that is E standard tuning, but you tune the 6th string down to a D. So all of your strings are D, A, D, G, B, and you won't be using some of the strings for this riff. Once you get in tune, first thing you're gonna do is go up to here and play a power chord on the 9th fret of the A string. So that's 9th fret A string, 11th fret D string. Then if you play that power chord with an open D string, that makes it a D major 7, which is kind of one of the things that makes this riff sound really cool, being in drop D like that. So first thing is the chords. You have this one, and then all you're going to do is drop your first finger down to the 9th fret, 6th string. That's your 2nd chord. Then you drop that whole shape down to 5. That's your 3rd chord, and then right back up to 9, which is the same as your 2nd chord. So you have, and that's it. So the strumming pattern for this is really the hardest part. Dave Grohl said in interviews that he likes to think of the guitar sometimes like a drum set. So if you are a drummer or familiar with drum beats at all, that might help a little bit. He's sort of thinking as your 6th string as like a kick drum, and then your power chord or your A and D strings as like a snare drum, sort of. It makes a little bit of sense as a drum beat, but anyways, here's your full pattern for the first 2 chords. So I'm going to do that again slowly. So this is the hardest part to get really consistent. I think that if you're being really casual about learning this song, it's not super important to get it exact. You can get it sounding pretty close with this sort of syncopated rhythm without being exactly right. And I think even if you listen to the recording, he doesn't do it exactly the same every single time. But this is just the pattern that I sort of heard when I was listening to the recording. So let's divide it into 2 different measures. Measure 1 is this. So I sort of think about it in terms of when I'm hitting the A and D strings. So the first time I hit those is after I play the 6th string twice. And then I hit the 6th string once, and I hit those strings twice. So they're kind of the reverse of each other. You have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then the last 2 eighth notes of the measure are just going from the 6th string to the power chord. So the full first measure is this. Now the second measure starts off the same way as the first measure. That's where I was kind of making a mistake at first. I had an extra power chord in there, but after listening to it again, it sounds like he's doing 2 on the D string, or on the 6th string, and then 1 on the power chord. So we have, so now we're doing 3 power chords in a row. and that's the rest of that measure. So you have okay, let's put those two measures together one more time. So that pattern is going to go over the first and second chord. Now when I go down to the 5th fret chord, it's switching patterns. And this is where a lot of drummers will definitely recognize this pattern. So you might notice that this chord goes on for half as long as this chord. So we'll get to that in a second, but the pattern so what you're doing is 1, 2, 3, 4. You do that twice. So that's one full measure. And then you do that whole thing twice on this chord because it goes on for 2 measures. So I'm sort of putting some of those notes in a staccato type of fashion, which is just really short, just to illustrate where that pattern repeats. But here it is one more time, kind of slowly without staccato notes. All right, once you get those strumming patterns down and you get the chords down, it's time to put it all together. So I'm going to play the whole thing for you slowly. And I like to downpick this one just because it helps me stay in control of when I'm switching. If you alternate pick it, in my experience, is a little bit harder. But if you're playing the entire 4-minute song, you might end up alternate picking a little bit just because you might get a little tired. So it doesn't sound quite the same to me, but I think you should do whichever one is easiest for you. All right, that was the main riff / intro for Everlong by Foo Fighters. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check us out on Patreon.